going on, guys? It's Austin with Hot Rod Heaven. I'm here with Aalic today. 19-year-old kid restored this with his dad, so I'm really pumped to jump into this ride. So Aalic, thank you so much for doing this, man. Tell us a little bit about the ride that we have here and kind of why did you want to build this car?
So this is a 1970 Camaro. The reason I wanted to build this car is because my father's first car was a 70 Camaro. Okay. He still has it to this day, but I grew up sitting in the back seat of that car, and it was just by chance that we ended up finding this car, and the guy was a really nice guy, ended up giving us a pretty good price on it. Obviously it didn't look like this, but it was basically all original, had a 307 in it with the 350. It was on the column, so no center console, but when we got the car, it was pretty rusty. The guy, he hit the side of it with his lawnmower, so the door was all smashed in, pretty good. Ended up working a lot of that out. The quarters had to be completely redone on the bottom. We had to cut it all out and fab up a piece on both sides, do all that, you know, as well as some other spots, and obviously had the flat hood on it, but.
Yeah, I like that you added the scoop. About how long do you think it took you and your dad to fully transform the car?
Obviously they're never done,
yeah,
but as you see it, about a year.
Dang, dude, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, it was every Tuesday and Thursday night and Saturdays.
That's awesome, man. You and your dad were hustling, and I also think that's pretty cool for you to be 19 years old and be able to kind of just bond with your dad and build this car. This is something can last a lifetime full of memories just in this car with you and your dad, which I think is super special, and that's what I love about hot rodding, man.
Yeah, man. People have definitely asked me if I'm going to sell it, but I just give them the sentimental price.
Yeah, man, it's hard to sell something, especially with the blood, sweat, and tears and those moments that you have with your pops to build this, man. You can't buy that, you know what I mean? So that's awesome. And was this the original color of the car, or did you guys just totally go a different way with the color?
No, this is the original color and the original interior color as well.
And I noticed that you have like this lace look on the hood, and then when we lift it up, you kind of have it on the air cleaner as well. What was kind of the inspiration behind that, and what was the process of doing that?
You know, I grew up around all kinds of cars, so especially the 64 Impalas and things like that with the lace roof. And my whole thing is I like to leave the car like it's supposed to look. I don't really like too crazy paint jobs, but I thought it'd be a nice touch that would set the car apart. You can't really see it at most angles, but when you see it, you can't unsee it. That was kind of the inspiration, and I love when people walk past the car and they're like, oh, and look at the hood.
Do a little double take.
But yeah, it's a Blueprint 3-to-3 stroker. And the reason I went with this motor is because you can't build it for cheaper than what they had it for. So it's aluminum heads, got 520 lift cam, so it sounds very nice. Long tube headers, they're Patriot headers. I didn't go with the ceramic coated headers because they're very nice. I've had them in the past, but I like the way that these kind of change colors. They go like purple, blue, so that was kind of neat to me.
And then what about the exhaust running through? What do you got going on there?
It's full 2.5 all the way back. It's got some 40 series Flowmasters on it, over the axle, dumped down right behind the back tire, so it sounds pretty good hitting off the ground. It's got the air cleaner cut out in the back with a mesh, so it is functional, as well as the tube that is also functional, so it's getting cold air from 2 angles. I found this breather at Turkey Rod Run, so I was looking for something big. I liked the style of the tube, and I ended up putting it on the car, and the car started spitting and sputtering. I look, and the breather is rubbing up against the distributor, so it took it out of time. I had to cut it anyways, so I was like, why would I cut it and then put a solid piece back in? I'm like, why don't I cut it and make it functional? We did put a 400 transmission in it to handle the power, and they're a little longer, so we had to modify the cross member and all that, but it came out really nice. So as far as the wheels and tires, my father has the exact same setup on his, so I grew up with it, and I just love the way they look, and as well as when me and him go to shows, we're twinning. They're Jegs wheels. We put a chrome stripe around the edge just to kind of separate the wheel and the tire so they're not just black. The fronts are 15x4s. Got 165 80s, and you know, they are a little thin, and most people think that when you're driving on the highway like I do that, you know, it'll start to skid, but I really haven't had any problems with that. And the rears are 15x10s, 275 60s, so big tire with big grip to fill up that wide wheel well. It looks very good in there, just on stock ride height.
What is the suspension that you got running on the car?
It's all original, you know, just everything's new. It's got new ball joint shocks, brakes, everything like that. Yeah, nothing's really done as far as that goes. Everything is just new. As far as the rear end goes, we were supposed to film this video a little bit earlier, but ran into some trouble. The original rear end ended up blowing an axle seal. So I got home and it was just hemorrhaging out of the brakes. Luckily, I had a 8.5 10 bolt sitting away out of a Firebird, so it's a posi, and it's built a little bit, so ended up having to put that in the car, but now I have posi. So as far as the interior, 70 Camaro seats are 1 year only. You know, 71, 72 are a little different. And as far as this color combination goes, you know, the green on green, these seats, these were the only and last set in America. So I ordered those just by chance, and you know, like I said, it's original. It's how the car is supposed to be, which is exactly how I wanted it.
Is pretty much everything original in here? Because I know you were saying that it was on the tree, so you put this center console in here then, right?
Yes, that console is an original console. It's got the 4-speed gate, but I did that because I wasn't really a big fan of the horseshoe. Just kind of didn't fit the muscle car aspect of this car. And the dash, we had to put a new one in from MPD. Steering wheel's original. We just put a nice wrap on it, gives you better grip. Door panels are new. Pretty much everything is new besides the center console. That's the original.
New accessories, new parts, but it still got that old look and feel to everything. You kind of wanted to keep it that classic look instead of kind of modernizing the interior.
The way I look at it is, if it's an old car, it's meant to be old. If you want a new car, then get a new car.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a big fan of keeping the original look with the classic cars. Like, there's nothing like getting in an old car, seeing the old gauges, feeling that old steering wheel. I feel like that's how it's meant to be. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not knocking anybody who has like a newer, fresh interior or something like that. I'm just a big fan of having that classic look because it really does kind of put you in that world of driving in the 70s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I love, because obviously I never got to live that experience, so I am a little butthurt about that. But yeah, I'm not knocking anyone who does want to modernize their interior or put fuel injection, you know, because they just want to drive the car and enjoy the car. And at the end of the day, I can respect that, because you're bringing old cars back.
Yeah, exactly. You're keeping them alive no matter what you do or what it looks like. Cool, man. I think that kind of wraps up the interior. I say we get a camera in the car and go for a cruise. Before we hop in the ride, we do have some shirts for sale, so if you want to support the channel, keep this thing going, we have that linked in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. Not bad, bro.
Nah. See, and it gets raspy.
Yeah, for sure. It's not like too crazy, but it's still like pretty good, you know?
Nah, I mean, I didn't want anything too crazy. And it gets a little unreliable when it gets too crazy.
How often do you drive this car? Is this like a daily driver for you, or?
Probably 3 times a week.
I'm sure like pulling up to college in this thing is probably pretty sick, dude. Honestly, just driving this anywhere is sick.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are shocked when they see me.
Yeah, I bet. So you're like the 3rd generation of kind of hot rodders in your family?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to be able to keep building on to that legacy, you know? It's kind of similar in my situation. Like, my granddad was a hot rodder, drag raced. My dad's a drag racer now, like, and I'm building my own car. So it's cool to see some younger guys really in this, trying to keep it alive, you know?
This is the first car that I was able to be like, I did this, and have that sense of accomplishment. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't really have many friends around my age. I kind of grew up in bars and things like that, so I always grew up around adults, which is part of the reason I am the way I am. I just don't really mesh with a lot of the younger generation per se.
I feel you. Yeah, you're an old soul living in a young body, pretty much. I'm the same way, dude. Like, a lot of my friends, like, are my dad's friends that are hot rodders and stuff like that. Like, I got a couple friends that are around my age, but they're not really into cars and hot rods and stuff. So it's cool to be able to meet someone like you too that is into the same things, you know, like-minded people. That's important to be around. doesn't really matter the age.
Yeah, most of my friends are like 50. I just got out of high school last year, but more of what I hear from the younger generation is a lot of talk.
Yeah.
They don't do it, but they're like, man, you get a LS and you put a turbo on it, man. But it's like, you don't know what it takes to do that work. So it's a lot easier for them to talk because they look at YouTube videos and things like that, whereas back in the day, you had to figure it out.
Dude, it really does sound good. When you start hitting that higher RPM, man, it does sound really good.
Yeah, it gets raspy.
Yeah, man, this is such a fun like cruiser car, take out, freaking take it to cruises, car shows.
Yeah, and the 400's got a shift kit and it's built. You feel it, it just bangs.
Yeah, man, that's sick, dude. Well, good job, man. This is such a dope build, and man, to be your age and to say like, hey, I did this, that's pretty cool accomplishment, man. Especially in today's world, you don't really see that a lot. So, I mean, I don't know, we don't know each other except a couple hours, but I am proud of you of this, man, and keeping this alive, dude. It's really, really, really cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up this video. Aalic, thank you so much for doing this, man. Such a cool story, and I'm glad we were able to kind of share it and hopefully inspire some young kids out there and show the older guys, hey, we're still young. I mean, you're a little bit younger than me, but we're still out here trying to do something cool with some hot rods. So I appreciate the time that you took, man, for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm glad I can help with the cause, and you know, if you guys want to do something, just get out there and do it.
Yeah, man, exactly, dude. I love that attitude. Also want to give a huge shout out to Gum Out for sponsoring this video. What they did was hook up Alex with a nice little care package. They gave him some Gum Out all-in-one. What this does is it cleans the entire fuel system, removes carbon deposits, and helps clean carburetors and fuel injectors to help maximize fuel economy and horsepower. So big shout out to Gum Out for always helping out and making an awesome product. We love these guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.